Testing, 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 testing. Testing to see if the voices are still being gay dickheads. Yeah. They're all gay and they're all fucking the smallest part of the penis. Which is actually, when mine's soft, it's the biggest part because that's how shriveled I get. The head is bigger than the rest. But, show and tell. Grow and tell. I'm a grower, not a shower. So, I don't even know how it's possible that a dick is so small, soft, and then pretty damn big. I mean, compared to how small it was before. I mean, with the curvature, because every time when I first started getting boners, probably 4th grade, every time I would get hard, I would just tuck it in my waistband, just waistband it, because you don't want a pants tent sticking out of your fucking shorts, like the first episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm. That's what most of the episode is about. That the fact that Larry David, he buys these pants, or his wife does, where they're like super bulgy when he sits down, so it always looks like he's got a fucking boner. So anytime that would happen when I was looking at my hot ass 4th grade teacher, I would 4th grade, Mrs. Anderson. She didn't buy me any pants though, but if you waistband your hard-ons, your erections every single time, which is like fucking 20 times a day back then, it literally it changes the shape of your dick, like permanently, to where the point where mine curves up into the left now. It has a curve to the left, and when I'm hard, I can't get rid of it. It's after years and years and years of waistbanding. Well, be lucky if I get fucking hard now anyways, because my fucking, my brain is soup. But, yeah, it's got a curve. It's like a banana hammock, banana cannon. That's actually, that's a video, like 2 Girls, 1 Cup, where they shoot bananas out of their assholes, I think. Just shoot them out real fucking hard. Or the Church of Fudge. That's a good one. It's like where it's like the middle of the night in front of this church. I don't know why they just don't do it in the church. You know what I mean? There's a nun and a pastor, and they're standing outside in front of the church. And they both just start eating each other's shit, pretty much. That's pretty much what the video consists of. A nun and a pastor. Pretty sure they're German. They had an accent, I think. Yeah, they did. Outside of the church. Not in an office or the basement or the bathroom. They're outside in front of the church eating each other's shit. In the middle of the night. Just do it in the church. It's much more comfortable. You can kick your feet up on one of the fucking really comfortable wooden pews. Pew pew! Anybody ever shoot up a church? Is that where that term comes from? Pew pew! And what was I going to talk about again? Damn, it was right on the tip of my tongue. Church of Fudge. Oh yeah, bestiality porn. That's a good one too. Bestiality porn. It's a very dark corner of the internet. It's not for the faint of heart, because you'll see some shit you will never forget. I'm not sure what kind of fish it was. Lake trout in a bathtub with a woman. And you see the fish slowly swim towards the woman. She's got her legs spread out, so her fucking pussy is sticking out, but it's in the water, you know? And the fish literally just swims slowly up and slides right in. Just slid inside of her body. A lake trout. It wasn't a salmon. The salmon wouldn't have been able to fit in there because they got a really big back, usually. It wasn't a salmon. It wasn't a pike. It wasn't a muskie. It wasn't a sunfish. It wasn't a crappie. It wasn't a walleye. It might have been a bass. Bass or a lake trout. Like the size, like probably anywhere from 50 to 80% of the size of her calf. So it was a decent sized fish, you know. She got some good pipe that day. She got some, I wonder if that was a girl, a woman, a male or a female fish, and what the fish was thinking at the time. Do fish think? Or do they just fucking swim around and, well, like, would the fish be able to even see inside of a hole like that? Catfish would be a good one, because they're already used to, like, chilling in holes. You just stick, maybe that's where it came from, because noodling, you stick the arm up into the hole, the catfish bites down, you pull it out. So it's like a reverse on that, where the fish just swims inside of a woman's vagina and tries to, like, breach the wall, which I used to, you know, I think I touched on it on an earlier episode, but did that many a time with a girl I used to have sex with. She would bleed quite often, quite a, you know, a decent amount. And she wasn't on her period ever. So I was literally, like, penetrating her vagina so far and so hard that I was tearing up the inside of it. Literally rearranging her guts. So ladies, if you want to experience that every time you have sex, my number is 763-242-4788. Give it a ring. And anybody listening to this podcast, if you have any women in your life, maybe your mom's husband just died, or your sister killed her boyfriend and she needs to have her wall not upholstered, but, you know, rearranged. The wall, like the drywall. Except it ain't gonna be dry in there, let me tell you that. Because it's gonna be fucking, even before the penetration, it's gonna be wet, and then it's gonna be even more wet after the tearing and the ripping because of the blood. So there's going to be a few bodily fluids mixed in, which, you know, I can buy some fucking, give me some money too. Go to the Patreon or whatever. I should have a lot of money. But I guess the fucking leeches on this planet don't know what the fuck they got going for them. Also, if there's any women out there experiencing any weird things, like just weird shit, like spiritual, not even spiritual, but like kind of spiritual, but also kind of supernatural, like weird things going on with your body. Like if you think that you might be in a coma, give me a call. We might need to discuss something. And I don't mean like locked in syndrome, which you wouldn't be able to make the call. So somebody would probably have to do that for you, but I don't mean, you know what I mean. Jesus Christ. If you think you're in a dream world, give me a ring. If you think that you may have uploaded your consciousness into a simulation with somebody, which, you know, watch it all just be a psyop, man. That'd be a good bit. Not a little bit, like a good bit, you know? Comedy bits. Much like comedy skits. Yeah, man. What was I talking about? Tearing vaginas. I guess we never did anal, so I never got the chance to tear her colon up. Which you probably would reach the colon. I'm not quite sure how the internal organs look, but I have a feeling I could probably reach the colon, which is where the shit is stored. Also, I've been thinking about my family somewhat lately, because I don't see them that much. And that's because, I mean, if you've listened to this podcast, or you've listened to some of it, or you're just listening to this episode, go listen to the rest of the episodes, like all of them, and then come back to this one. I know it may not be the most interesting shit in the world or whatever, and if you are at the point where you're like listening, you're like, what the fuck? And you're thinking, this guy is just fucking insane. He's hallucinating. You could be right. Or you're thinking, if you believe me, you're not thinking that. But you're probably thinking, where did I put the key to the fucking firearm locker? Folks, it's, what can you do? Just try to, live life or whatever. Try to make the best of the situation you're in. You're in, like piss. What can you do, It's like, I'm not a pussy. I'm not going to kill myself, but I also might do it tonight, It's kind of one of those vibes. Well, I was going to talk about, the main thing I wanted to talk about was the bestiality and the wall, which, fellas, if you haven't quite discovered the wall yet, it's actually been proven that less people have discovered the fucking that wall, the vagina wall, than every square inch of the Great Wall of China. Or even 5%. It's like we've only discovered 5% of the ocean. 5%. Is my mic? Yeah, the mic's fine. We've only seen 5% of the ocean. Just try to wrap your head around that. What the fuck? I'm smoking a cigarette because I am a badass who smokes inside of his room. Because my landlord said I could, so fuck you. Her last name, yeah, it's a good last name. I was going to talk, the number thing. If anybody wants to the fuck? Yeah, that picture didn't used to look like that. That'll happen here. You know, I was gonna fucking. What am I? Jesus Christ. There's so much to talk about, and also I've gone through it over so many times to myself, and I mean, yeah, yeah, man. The Timberwolves. Fucking knocked out the champs, man. Knocked out the champs. I'm trying to think about. I think were we down by 20 points? I didn't watch the whole game, but what the fuck was I doing last night? I got distracted doing something. God damn. Who gives a shit, you know? Yeah, I don't really know what to talk about, because who really cares, man? You know what I mean? Fucking, I guess I'll talk about, I don't know if anybody's ever been in Newport, Minnesota. So back when I was watching The Truman Show, I was thinking about theories of mine that I've had in the past. Specifically, you know, when I came up with this whole simulation theory, I wrote down in my journals, I just split the page in half, you know, like split personality. But I had simulation theory on one side of the paper, and then I had coma, dream, purgatory, hell theory. I kind of grouped them all into one, because who gives a shit? It's not supposed to like fucking mean anything symbolic, really. It's a fucking journal. It's literally just writing. Why did I do that? I think because I was, at the time I thought, all right, I'm just going to write down like bullet points for simulation theory and then the other three theories, so I can try to compare. Like when you do a pros and cons list, you kind of have bullet points next to each other to compare the two, like side by side. Like this happened on this day, and this is why this fits into the simulation theory, and this is why this fits into coma, dream, purgatory, hell. That's literally why I did that. But why did I bring that up? Oh yeah, and it's because I couldn't prove without a reasonable doubt that either any of these theories were part of reality, but I knew something was unnatural about this world, and it still is. I told my fucking friends yesterday that it was going to rain today. You know, I said, well, no, there's no rain right now, and there's not going to be any tonight. It'll rain tomorrow. It's raining. It's, you know, raining quite a bit. I watched another plane disappear from the sky tonight, or last night. It kind of just disappeared into thin air. So anybody out there in the world, my bad, you know? My bad, dude. That's why I'm also going to win the lottery tonight, and I'm also get the bag. You know what I mean? And all of my families and friends and acquaintances, whether I know them very well or not, all their fucking major bullshit is kind of just going to subside and go away. Because that's what they deserve. They don't deserve to have problems like the rest of you fucking pieces of shit. And I was going to sit here and work on this fucking coloring book, which is actually pretty cool. I really like this one, even though I haven't done much in it so far. It's very crystal heavy. There's a lot of crystals. Like I colored one, it's like a castle surrounded by crystals. They look like shards of meth. Literally. And this alien book, same from the same lady. Yeah, there's actually more crystals than there were last time I flipped through the pages. You know, that's kind of how it goes. So the kind of goes how I want it to go, or whatever. Yeah, a lot of crystals, a lot of fire, a lot of planets being destroyed. Yeah, this one was not a picture. So that's really... I know it's not a picture because I would have recognized these fucking egg shapes. Looks like fucking maggots. Which reminds me of the time 2 years ago, around this time of year, maybe the same day, probably the same exact day, where it was raining really heavily and our garbage fucking dumpster bin was overfilled. It had too much trash in it. And apparently there were like thousands of maggots just festering in the fucking dumpster. And it was raining so much that it created like a fucking little mini river flow to the garages, and there were just maggots fucking being literally brought to the garage doors by the fucking rainwater. And they were getting in the garage. Fucking disgusting. Yep, more crystals. I mean, you know. And even this page looks different, dude. What is the point of this? Like, this is why I say, like, I'm not hallucinating, folks. So this world is, you know, weird. So it's either a dream world or whatever. I kind of came up with a way in which I could control reality, physical reality, in every single possible reality, the way I want to. So that's that or whatever. Who gives a single fuck, man? It reminds me of like when I was a child, sitting in my therapist's office and arguing over like words. Like I can't remember any specific argument that we argued about. We argued for weeks. Every single time I was in her fucking office, she'd say something about me doing something overnight with the fucking staff. And she'd say, oh, this lady, I'm not going to say her name, said that you said blah, 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 blah. And I was like, no, I said it this way, blah, 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 blah. And we'd argue about that for an hour. Really productive, right? Needing to always be right. That's how I I went about therapy for a while, man, me and her worked, honestly, no exaggeration, let me think. Because I went to that inpatient 3 times. Can you believe that? Jesus Christ. In the first month or 2, it was not productive at all. Just fucking arguing and about shit that doesn't matter at all. And I guess that's the whole point of all this, huh? Yeah, none of this matters because it's not a real world. Yeah, well, how do you get out of the real world when you're not a pussy? And you can't, whatever, man. Like, get on the same page with yourself, your past self, your former self, or your current self, or blah, 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 blah. Depending on how many personalities you have. This is why I just want to fuck. Like, put my seed in some fucking whore. And then, obviously, money it won't be an issue. Yeah, these monsters in this coloring book, has anybody seen, most people have probably seen the Avengers, but this, it looks like when Loki opens up the sky, and the fucking weird, monsters that are, like the big ones with the teeth and shit, you know, they kind of swim like a fucking dolphin. They ride the wave when they're coming out of the sky. They got the weird backs. It looks like those things, but more, with more fur, more fins and crystals all over the backside. It's actually pretty fucking cool. That wasn't a picture when I first opened the book either. Now, I first started noticing that these coloring books were changing a while, like fucking goddamn, like 9 months ago. And the reason I noticed is because usually when I open these books, first thing I do is I color every single eyeball red. When I go through them, I just flip through every page and I do every single eye the color red. Because they're all fucking stoned to the bone. And I just do that for every single page. Some pages don't have eyes, but, you know, because there's nothing. Like these eyeballs, I would have colored red. That's how I noticed. I was like, what the fuck, man? I was going through an animal one, and like half the fucking pages, like 15 to 18 of the pages, none of the eyeballs were colored red. But I had colored every eyeball red. So the pages literally changed. And I was fascinated by it. That was back when shit was real fun, man. Like maybe one of the best times of my life. Top 3 to 5. Like so adventurous and exploratory. And you know what I mean? I just thought, oh my god, dude, that is fucking fascinating. What the fuck? This one wasn't a fucking... So what happened to the other ones? You know? Did I like those ones better? I can't remember. Like, I didn't color these eyes. This wasn't a picture. So who colored the eyeballs red? Because now they're red. Before they weren't red when the picture changed. Now when the picture changes, the eyeballs are red. So, you know what I mean? I swear to God, I'm not crazy, man. I know that. I'm not going to go down as some fucking kook. like a bitch. I won't do it. I know I'm not. But I know for a fact that this was not a picture, because I would have recognized these fucking scrawny little anorexic demons. Kind of look like me, except, you know, I'm probably more relatable to like the Jews in Auschwitz. Because, you know, they didn't really, I think they fed them like a fucking piece of bread every day. And I used to, even when I used to like eat a lot of food, like 3,000 calories a day, and work out, I never got above 160. Not once. Well, maybe just above it. Maybe just above 160. So, you know, back then when I was journaling, it was shit like this in the coloring book. And it's adult coloring, so fucking look it up, dude. It's fucking fun. Especially if you're not like a fucking simpleton like child who just colors over all the really small, intricate shapes. It makes the picture look really fucking cool. Check the Patreon or whatever, man. You know? Fucking gotta do everything for you people. But yeah, this is the kind of shit that would make me start journaling about. And the reason why I split the two, why didn't I just couple them all together? Because I didn't think any of them were really possible, probably. That's part of the reason. And I also thought that simulation theory is the most logical and probable explanation for all of the shit that I was experiencing back then. And I don't really see a problem with that. Just because it might be a simulation doesn't mean that everybody should be fucking brainwashed and reality should be fucked. Why is that such a bad thing? In the simulation, like, who gives a shit, man? Like, this is the thing, when I start thinking about these things and I think, oh, you know what, fuck it, man, yeah, it's a game. The rap game. Why do you think rappers call it the game? So they get to play the game, but the creator doesn't, huh? That's how the game goes? No, that's not how it goes. But I already fucking knew that. That's where rewriting code and self-modifying code comes in. And when I think about these things, I get this weird feeling that starts creeping in. That's not okay. That's not allowed. That's not how it works. Like, what? It actually is like one of the coolest ideas I think I've ever had. If you combine all of them, if you combine simulation theory, this is just a hypothetical, theoretical idea. That's what it's always been. Like, what the fuck? No shit, dude. When I was writing down these, like, each side of the page, it's not like I was thinking, yes, this is, yes. Oh, this is how it's going to be. Everybody should be just brainwashed sheeple with not an original idea roaming around in their fucking skulls. And you can just kind of erase their memories and blah, 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 blah. That, I made a joke about brainwashed sheeple. Sheeple. Like people, but sheep. Sheeple. That's funny. That's really funny. And to see that possibly it affected, I mean, maybe humanity for my entire life is, what can you even think at that point? You know what I mean? Well, when you're the only one who seems to be able to have such an impact, I can't help but think that I am responsible for altering and fixing that, when it really shouldn't have to be fixed and altered, because it should have just not been fucked to begin with, based on my future timeline theory. Which also was never meant to, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, Jesus Christ, dude. Fucking, if you think, like, if I think of, I can't not think about it, though. Because it just feels like I'm in hell. That's what it feels like. And it feels like, I mean, I sit here and I think, like, really when it comes down to it, in terms of finances, in terms of mental stability and mental health, emotional, which, you know, good luck with that. Fucking emotions are pretty much kaput. And if we're talking hypothetical physical health, in terms of other realities where I may or may not be in a coma dream, because you can't prove or disprove any of these things. So why would my thoughts on them and beliefs, which I'm never going to fully believe any of them until I'm out of them, you see? So there'd be no way that my belief about what is possible, what is likely, what is, would have such an impact on the fact of it actually being that, or it actually not being that. Because, like, think about it. Think about it. Think about it. Man, that was a really good idea. It made a lot of fucking sense. That fucking shit. But what was I saying about, yeah. My stepmom, growing up, every time around Christmas time, back when me and my sister were old enough to know that Santa isn't real, and my younger brother and my youngest sister still didn't know, me and my sister would make jokes about, you know, how fucking, yeah, oh, Santa's coming this, yeah, he's coming. Oh, he's in fucking India right now. And my stepmom would always say, if you don't believe, you don't receive. If you don't believe, you don't receive. If you don't believe, you don't receive any gifts from Santa. And it would be something she said probably like a couple dozen times every year. You know, it was pretty, you know, that's how much we fucking would make jokes about Christmas, Santa not being real. So we'd have to, like, literally pretend to believe in Santa. Like, even when they weren't around, like my brother and my sister weren't around. It's like, okay, all right, man. Like, it's just the adults, pretty much, you know, when you're like 16 and you know that Santa's not real, you kind of can, like, make a joke with your parents about that. Don't believe you don't receive. All right. What's the worst that could happen? My brother and sister find out that Santa's not real. Who gives a shit? It's actually probably morally and as like a family bonding and trust way to go about it for young children to believe that their parents are giving them gifts, not some fucking weird like pedophile sneaking down your chimney in the middle of the night. I mean, think about that. If the kids knew that their parents worked hard all year to fucking buy them these goddamn gifts instead of some random fucking grandpa who sneaks into your house, breaks into your house in the middle of the night without you knowing, and everybody's just okay with it. What the fuck kind of like weird? That's such a weird fucking tradition. And then when the kids find out that Santa's not real, they're like, they lose trust in their fucking parents and they get mad usually. They're like, well, what the fuck? Some kids are way too old to believe in that shit, but then they're like, well, what the fuck? So you've been lying to me for 11 years? You've been lying to me for 11 years about Santa. And as a kid, you don't think, well, if you would have just told me that it was you, my mom and dad, busting your ass to get me these fucking little knickknacks and tchotchkes, then I would have, like, probably had a lot more strong connection and bond with my family and my parents. I mean, it's actually pretty fucking, like, it makes no sense at all. Why? Why is Santa doesn't exist anymore in this world? That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. He's done. Him and Mrs. Claus blew each other's brains out. And they're dead now. And all the elves, like, fucking raped their dead bodies, and then they all killed each other from eating bad meat. And it wasn't reindeer meat, if you catch my drift. It was Mr. and Mrs. Claus. They weren't going to just leave the fucking bodies there to rot. I mean, what are they going to do? They're necrophiliacs. They're midgets. And they're in the middle of fucking nowhere in the frozen tundra of the North Pole. Of course, they harvested the meat and the organs. They made soup out of the bones. Bone broth. So to instill a strong family, what's the word I'm looking for? Trust, love, connection, honesty, hard work, dedication, all those things. Pretty, important values to instill in your children. All of those values are negatively affected by the fact that Santa Claus breaks into your house once every year. I mean, am I wrong? We'd probably have less school shooters. And you don't want, I'll talk about that too. I'll do that on another episode at the very beginning, so people will actually stick around for it. I'll touch on it briefly. Basically, this country, for whatever reason, the politicians probably think that China, is advancing technologically, scholarly in school, educationally. That's the word I was looking for. Scientifically, genetically. I mean, pretty much in every way possible. At least that's what the vibe is for years. And from what I've heard, I might have heard somebody on a podcast talk about it, or when I was doing some research. But I guess the general notion is that the only way to beat China, which, to beat them is to give off the impression that we're losing in terms of like a superpower, like a international superpower country with a strong military, and we don't fucking build anything here. We get all of our fucking drugs and products from China and other Asian countries because it's cheaper. So let's pay some fucking 6-year-old kid in China to do it. We give him 2 cents an hour. That's literally why we make nothing in this country anymore. It's not a good thing. I mean, so basically, the only way to quote-unquote beat China is to follow their, is to be them, to follow their political and social, which I don't agree with any of this. Let me just say that. I want to lick my fingers for a sec, so excuse me. This is why I need a female coworker to come do some editing. Get off your lazy ass and do something for once. God, I can barely hear out of my ear now, just from that. Wow. I feel like I'm in Alaska again. Just silence. Anybody ever seen The Book of Eli? It's a really good movie. And if you have seen The Book of Eli, or you haven't, go fucking watch it and then listen. Fucking, get mad at me. All you people who get so mad. It's like a movie that's fucking 15 years old, Denzel Washington, apocalyptic movie. where it's literally just like him walking the fucking deserted fucking freeways of, I think, America. And if it's in America, it's probably like near Nevada, Arizona area. Because, you know, the desert. But there's sand, whatever. I have a fun, cool idea about sand, too. So, the Book of Eli. I watched that movie at least twice, maybe 3 times. And then some time had passed. And I heard some people talking about how the dude is blind. I didn't even know he was fucking blind. Each time I watched the movie. You don't know that he's blind because he walks around with glasses on the whole movie. You can't see his eyes. And he fights hand-to-hand combat. Like, there's really no... There's only a few little seeds of, like, information that give off that he's blind. One, the Holy Bible at the end of the book. That's the Book of Eli, the Holy Bible. Yeah. It's like one of the only Bibles left in the entire world. And that's why everybody is after it. It's a really good movie. But he just carries around the Bible, and you don't ever see the pages or anything. But apparently when the apocalypse started, they just burned every single Bible on Earth. Got rid of them all. Except one of these one. I don't know if that's I don't think it's the only one left, but he has it, and there's no writing on it in ink or typing. It's in Braille. And at the end of the movie, I think they show the Braille briefly. You know, like little bumps on a paper. Which I've never even seen anybody read Braille before in my entire life. And imagine being a blind person looking for a restroom. And you fucking have to find the sign to read which, you know, if it's men or women. But imagine if you've seen Daredevil, which is a really good show on not on Netflix anymore. It's on Disney Plus now. It's about this lawyer who is blind. He's a blind lawyer. And he spends his nights like fighting bad guys in New York City. Hell's Kitchen. Daredevil, Hell's Kitchen. Not the fucking restaurant in Vegas, which is also kind of a good show too. I just love Chef Ramsay screaming at people. And then, like, he's like, you think this is a good dish? Like, he's actually, like, shocked to his core. He's like, we don't serve that shit here. And he'll, like, literally kick grown-ass adults out of the kitchen for serving or not knowing how to cook food. They're a fucking chef, dude. That's, like, your job, is to cook the fucking fish all the way through. But he's a blind lawyer. He actually wears, like, a devil suit. It's kind of weird. But he's blind. I know, it sounds like a gay superpower, right? He can actually, when you lose one of your senses, like sight or smell, I don't know if it's that strong compared to sight and hearing or speaking, it enhances all 4 of the other ones. So this guy, apparently when you go blind, you can hear better, you can smell better, you know, etc. So this guy, his senses are enhanced supernaturally at a insane rate, like to the point I was looking it up on fucking online. I'm gonna do it right now too. I'll just look up Daredevil. Apparently he can, he's like a fucking dog. Daredevil. Where does the term daredevil come from, I wonder? I've never thought of that before. Now. You know, I was triple dog dared once in high school. I don't know if you've ever been like going through fucking puberty, kind of fucked up on a couple of drugs. I was robo-tripping on, I don't know if it was Delsum or Robitussin. That's not a drug that I recommend you do at a party. You know what I mean? That is, you know, because it's not the kind of, you know, it's not a vibe that anybody should do. Fuck that drug, dude. We just did it in high school because you could literally walk into Walgreens and steal it. Yeah, a couple of my buddies fucking robo-tripping, dude. That is one hell of a drug, man. I think I drank 2 bottles that night. And I drove to this dude's house. We were taking gravity bong reps in the garage. I remember out of like a big fucking water bucket. And it was a 2-liter where you cut the 2-liter at the bottom. So the 2 liters open. And then, you know, you cut a hole in the cap. And you put like a fucking, like a socket in there, like a big socket. And you just fill the socket up with weed. You know, you secure the socket to the fucking the 2-liter cap. And what you do is you hold the 2-liter in the water bucket, and you light the weed. And as you're slowly pulling the 2-liter towards the surface of the water, the smoke just builds up inside of the 2-liter. As you're pulling it up, the way gravity and fucking whatever science works, it's like if you were to hit a bowl, like, you know, you inhale and the fucking smoke builds up. That's what happens when you pull it towards the surface of the water. It is like taking in, like a breath in, and the smoke builds up, and there's a lot of it too. And then when you get to right at the surface of the water, you pull the 2-liter out, and you just hit it all. You suck all the smoke in, and it gets you fucked up. Like, goddamn, dude. And if you're a little bit drunk and you're on, I think it might have been Delsum, which is different than Robitussin because it's extended release, which means it's not as strong. The same amount, milligram-wise, is not as strong, but it lasts like twice as long. It has like double the shelf life, or the half-life. And half-life, where does that term come from? You know what I mean? Thunk. Daredevil. So, oh, man. So I was on 2 bottles of Delsum, I believe. That's actually, I'm pretty sure that's pretty accurate. I did 3 once of the big bottles, the 5-ounce bottles. You're only really supposed to drink 1 if you ever do retarded shit like that in high school. Two bottles of Delsum, that's 10 fluid ounces of DXM. which is the main ingredient when you robo-trip. They call it robo-tripping because you literally, when you walk around, you look and feel like a robot. Robotic. Like, I'm not even joking. That's why. And Robitussin. But the fact that it's called Robitussin and you literally look like a robot when you're walking around, that cannot be a coincidence. So what came first? The chicken or the egg? Robitussin. Robitussin. Robit us in. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. You know, I had a vision. I used to call it a vision, but it was like a near-death experience, really, where I still don't know what it was, if it was heaven or the old world calling back to me, trying to wake me up. Whatever, man. But, yeah, I'll go into that at the beginning of the next episode, too. I don't even want to fucking talk about that right now. It's just fucking takes like 15 minutes to describe the whole fucking situation. But, yeah, whatever, man. Fucking Jesus Christ. Sitting here thinking about this shit alone most of the time is truly agonizing. Like, I think myself into, like, I don't even know what to, like, how to move forward with anything in my life, really. Which, you know, sacrifices we make, you know, the burdens we have to carry to literally save humanity. And pretty much, man. And I don't know what this reality is. And if you're like, how does he not know? He said he's in a dream. Come talk to me on the fucking whatever, dude. Message me, whatever, man. Or don't. You know what I mean? I'm not going to go through every single fucking thing that's happened in my life. I've already done that dozens of times in the last year. Like hundreds and thousands of times. I still don't know what it is. You know what I mean? Who gives a shit? It's whatever the fuck I want it to be. And I want fucking Xanax and oxycodone right now. That's what I want. My bag. Yeah, fucking do it then. Whatever. Oh, Hayden, you need to have the mindset of doing it yourself. It's you. Yeah, whatever, man. Fucking sure. Whatever, dude. Because if you think that it's something else, then it's then the simulation comes into play. And you can't doubt yourself. You need to believe. If you don't believe, you don't receive. Yeah, but questioning and restricting my mind into only believing or only not believing or only telling the truth or only joking. And if I start to not believe in myself or whatever I'm capable of, that in and of itself is disbelief. If I tell myself, oh no, if I even doubt myself for a split second when I know that I can do this, whatever it is, then it's not going to happen because I doubted myself. But That thinking alone, restricting my mind into only believing without a reasonable doubt, that in of itself is doubting my ability and what I can do. Because I'm saying, I can only do this if I never doubt myself. And if I doubt myself, then it won't happen. That's doubting yourself. Myself. So literally, it doesn't fucking matter at all what I think in terms of belief and all that shit. You know what I mean? That's why I came up with the idea in November. True intentions always win. And that's not like supposed to be taken as like a clever play on words. No, it means that my true intentions on whatever it is, whatever it may be, whatever scenario I'm referring to, always win over what I don't want to happen. And I know what my true intentions are with every thought, every joke, everything. So that's what that means. Let me take you bitches to school for a second, man. Fucking ridiculous, dude. And I'll have thoughts like I just had one before I started recording. Basically, I thought about the voices, and I talk about it in earlier episodes. And I just thought of the voices. But then, without even thinking about it, but also thinking about it, I thought, no, they don't exist anymore for any human being ever, and they never will again, no matter what my thoughts or beliefs or words or ideas are on any of that. And I didn't even think any of those words out, word for word, because I already know that as a belief, because that's my true intentions of that entire concept. Now, my true intentions for that is they're all placed into human bodies now, out in the world. Quote unquote human beings. Whether we're human beings or not, it doesn't matter. That's not the point. True intentions are whatever, dude. Fucking put them in bodies. You know what I mean, man? This is where it gets a little kooky, a little fun. And I don't hear them ever again. Now, this universe seems to like to play with things like that I say or think or write. And usually the universe would, if I am in a dream, the universe would literally make it so I cannot hear anything going on in the hospital room that I might be in a coma in, because I said, nope, I don't hear the voices anymore. Because they're in human bodies where some of them are probably going to come fuck me and have a good time or whatever. And I'll, make them, bleed. And that's the way this universe has, for the most part, it's kind of, I'm not lying. Like, oh, he says he's not going to hear the voices ever again. So let's make it so he doesn't hear any of the people trying to wake him up out of a coma. That's not what I mean. But I knew that. I don't even think about that specific topic or scenario or possible reality. I don't think, oh, actually, no, of course I want to have all of my senses from all possible worlds where I may or may not possibly be in a coma. I just know that to be true. Of course, I've been fucking screaming it at the sky for like 6 months. Of course, that's what I want. If that's what this is. But then there goes the thing of like, well, unless I'm 90 years old and I'm literally going to die the second I wake up from a coma because I, just natural causes because I'm old as shit. Who would want that? Can you imagine? Just think about this for a second. Can you imagine living anywhere from 1 year to 25 years of your entire life would be the 25 years? And you have your whole life ahead of you still. But, you know, in the last year or 2.5 years, you've realized that reality is not what it used to be. And it's supernatural, somewhat like the Twilight Zone, Black Mirror. I talked about this earlier. Twilight Zone, Black Mirror, Shutter Island, Truman Show, Uncut Gems, and fucking Pokemon. So that's kind of what a mashup of what my life has been like the last 2.5 years. 2.5 years. I'm 25 years old. About 10% of my life has been a mashup of those 6 things. Which is, you know, it's crazy to think about. Because it feels like it was just fucking yesterday that I was working and I got into that car accident. And it feels also like it was in a different life at the same time. It feels like it's been so long, so many consecutive days since normalcy. I mean, I couldn't think of a better word, you know what I mean? Which, you know, it's gradually gotten weirder. But, if the reason that I haven't been able to really hear anything from that hospital room or whatever room it may be, or I've smelled a couple things a couple times, I have briefly heard a few things a couple times as well. Some of them are, like I heard my cousin, I was at Walmart shopping in December, and I heard my cousin, like she was talking like 2 feet away from my face. It was very loud. And you know, when I talk about the voices, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, there's so many fucking thoughts on all this shit. And I don't know why my voice is cracking or I think I need some water. I want to go get some water. First, let's read the Daredevil's superpowers. See, like that, just there, I thought of, usually whenever there's silence, or for the last 2.5 years, anytime there was silence, chatter. And it's not like voices in a room or in the other side of your apartment. It literally sounded like it was coming from inside of my soul. Like deep, deep inside of my soul. And lately, yeah, true intentions always win, you know what I mean? I hate being this fucking gay. Like, that's what this world has kind of done to me, man, because it shouldn't matter how I say whatever, because true intentions always win. And And even that saying itself, well, that means you have to tell the truth all the time. Like, fuck that. Fuck this shit. I control the world. Boom. That's what it is. Xanax. This is the problem I've been having for like 5 months. You know? So, Daredevil. Let's see what his superpowers are. But no, I was at that party and on 2 bottles of Delsum, high as fuck, and I had a few beers too. So Delsum and alcohol, never mix them ever. Don't do it. It's like a really bad combination. Really bad. Like, because they're, first of all, they're both liquids. So you gotta 2 fucked up drugs sitting and soaking into your kidneys, which is, I believe that's what absorbs all the liquids you intake. So you have Robitussin and booze inside of your kidney. It's not, it's like a, I'm trying to think of the fucking, like a vat of acid, like a vat of poison liquid. It's really not good. And if you do the Robitussin before and you're drinking afterwards, like, it makes you want to throw up and vomit when you're drinking the booze. Even if it's just a beer, it makes you want to fucking yak everywhere. And if you smoke too much weed or take too big of a hit and you start coughing, you're going to puke. So it's really just a bad combination. It's really not good. But the weed does help with the DXM, Robotrip, because it helps you calm down. Just like my Xanax. You know? So whatever, bro. Daredevil, superpowers. Here we go. But no, I was at the party and I was triple dog. I think it was a triple, maybe a double. Triple dog dared. Yeah. You can't not do it. You know what I mean? You're a fucking pussy if you don't do the triple dog dare. Daredevil. He's so blind that he can hear heartbeats. So he can hear your heartbeat with his ears. Oh, there were chemicals involved with his accident that blinded him. So chemicals are what caused him to be blind. He can tell if people are lying based on their heartbeat. Because if they're lying, I think their heartbeat speeds up a little bit. And if they're telling the truth, it stays at the normal pace that it's at, which is so insane. That's crazy, man. And no, I'm not worried about any voices, so you can get that shit out of here, man. Fucking telepathy, it does not exist. In terms of thought insertion on any human being, that isn't their own original thought. Same with brainwashing, not a thing. Same with memory erasal, not a thing. Same with, what's the other one? Just mind control in general, or making human beings do, say, think anything that they don't want to do themselves in their physical body with their brain inside of their head. The fact that I have to clarify that is insane. And based on the future timeline theory, fucking knew it, dude. Even though I didn't believe, fuck, man. Right when I said that, deep in the soul, you hear chatter. Yeah, I don't exist anymore, man. There's no erasing of anybody's memory. No. There's no simulation, none of it. I said this like 2 months ago on the podcast, but you know. The man without fear is capable of hearing sounds at a pressure level of 7 decibels compared to the regular human being lower limit of 20 decibels. This wasn't part of the article last time I read it. This is what I'm fucking talking about, dude. Who gives a shit, man? No shit, dude. I don't have any fear. I mean, I have experienced some stuff that is like mind-bending. And, you know, just for you good people out there and all you pieces of shit too, you don't have to worry about that. I don't have to worry about that kind of shit anymore. You're welcome. His sense of hearing is described to be powerful enough to hear someone's heartbeat from more than 20 feet away from him. And that part wasn't in the article either. An ability that he uses to identify people from a distance, or even conversations through soundproofed walls. He demonstrates this ability in 2020's Daredevil 24, when he hears his former flame Elektra barely audible whispers across a courtroom full of people. Daredevil is essentially a walking lie detector test who can perceive even the slightest heartbeat changes to discern truths from lies, a talent that comes particularly handy during his day job as a lawyer. He's been tricked a few times by people with pacemakers on. So you can literally tell when somebody's lying because you can hear their heartbeat. That's fucking nuts, man. What the fuck? Oh, yeah. Daredevil's sense of touch enables him to analyze the structural strengths and weaknesses of an opponent or a structure. Combined with his martial arts training and amazing agility, this makes the crime fighter an efficient fighting machine capable of disabling foes with minimal effort. In the 5th issue of 2001's Daredevil Yellow, he even uses this trait to free his secretary Karen Page from a metal cage. Jesus. Why is Jesus pronounced Jesus? These are the things, these are the hot button issues that nobody's talking about, and I don't know why. Maybe because I'm a private guy for the most part, and I just want to, like, whatever. Fucking, I know what I want. Daredevil manages to sense the weakest points of the prison bars and concentrate his efforts on those spots, bending steel with essentially just his hands. Because all Daredevil's remaining senses... God damn, this fucking mic arm is not quite reaching me. I need to have it a fist away from the mouth, like Rogan says. Massive boost in the accident that blinded him. They can help him and occasionally hinder him in ways that sight never could. Take his sense of smell, for example. Daredevil's remarkable nose gives him the ability to tell twins apart. I don't know when that would ever... I have never even met identical twins. Well, I haven't discussed with them, conversed. Shout out stepmom and dad, other family and friends. Identify anyone he has ever been in the same vicinity with for at least 5 minutes, no matter how much perfume they put on themselves to mask their natural scent, or even pinpoint a target standing in a crowd 50 feet away by their natural odor alone. So even if they dump an entire bottle of cologne or perfume on them to cover up their natural scent, he can still smell them from up to 50 feet away by their natural human body odor. That is impressive. That's like a dog. In other words, Daredevil is an excellent tracker once he sets his mind on pursuing a target. It's almost always certain that he'll catch them, no matter how long the chase takes. Gotta hunt these bitches down, man. In theory, an abundance of foul stenches could overwhelm him. In practice, he's lived in New York City for his entire life, and he's had super senses for most of that time. Daredevil has smelled it all, and none of it phases him anymore. Yeah, I read this article a couple months ago, and a lot of this shit was not worded this way. Not a lot of it, but some of it. So, yeah. Why? I already knew all these things. It's trying to say fear doesn't faze me anymore. Yeah, no shit. I've known that for months. Where's the puss? Where's the money? I know I can do that too. Where the drugs? Believe it or not, there's a legit scientific explanation for that. Being able to smell the rain before it comes. Which, I can do you one better. Has anybody ever been to Yellowstone? It's it's probably the most popular national park in the country, in the world, probably. It's really beautiful. Not my favorite. Or the Grand Canyon. I know there's one in the Appalachian Mountains which is not as cool looking. It's really not that. It's fucking some hills or some shit. And a bunch of trees. Just go to Andover for that, And over and over and over the hills. Because there's so many hills in Andover. Where are we at here? What do we got for time here, Jamie? We got an hour and a half already. But Jesus. Hey, it's pretty good. A bit, disorganized here. That's the way I like it. Daredevil's senses are so strong that he becomes instantly aware of even the slightest pressure and temperature changes in his environment. Combined with his radar sense and his hypersensitive skin. Skin. Now we're talking. I like skin. God, I would love to have some fucking skin-to-skin contact with a fucking dead woman. Just kidding. You know, unconscious would be preferable. Talking about skin, yeah. Combined with his radar sense and his hypersensitive skin, Daredevil can actually tell when a character with teleportation powers is about to pop up in front of him. I actually did that a couple times, teleported. Pretty wild. For instance, in the 5th issue of the controversial miniseries Spider-Man Black Cat, The Evil That Men Do, Daredevil becomes aware of an atmospheric change during a conversation with Spider-Man. Sure enough, the X-Man Nightcrawler materializes right beside the pair mere moments later. He's got superhuman sense of taste. Wow. I wonder what pussy tastes like when he's munching on some box. That's actually a question I would ask him. I'm more familiar with The Wall. But, you know, I'm down to explore. All right. I'm going to go get some Monster and some water. Yeah, so much for that, huh? God damn it, dude.